All right, my friends, we're continuing to move along with multiplication patterns. We've been doing factorization and powers and exponents, and we're still answering that same question on strategies to multiply whole numbers. Today we're on lesson 2.4, and that takes place on page 99. Page 99, I'm going to write that up here at the top. Page 99. It's got a goldfish on it with a mask. Goldfish don't need snorkel masks. That's just silliness. Okay, let's read this together. Powers of 10. Remember, we talked about powers before. Include numbers like 10, 100, and 1,000 because they can be written as 10 to the first power, 10 to the second power, and 10 to the third power. So let's look at the examples. Pet Paws is ordering more goldfish to sell at their store. Each goldfish costs $2. Use the table to determine the cost of 10, 100, and 1,000 goldfish. Describe the pattern in the number of zeros when multiplying the cost, $2, by powers of 10. That's a lot of information, you guys. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill out the table. So we've got, if there's one goldfish costs $2 and we're only buying one, there's two products and there's no zeros there, right? The product, the answer, the multiplication answer is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. There's no zeros. Okay, let's take a look at this. If there's $2 per goldfish and we buy 10 goldfish, 2 times 10 is what? You guys know that one? 20. How many zeros are in this product, in this answer to a multiplication problem? Yeah, 1. Let's look at this. 2 times 100. Now we're buying 100 goldfish. 2 times 100 goldfish. What is 2 times 100? That's right, 200. And how many zeros are there? 2. Are you guys noticing a pattern? Now we do 2 times 1,000. So 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. How many zeros are there? 3. Look at my pattern. 0 zeros, 1 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros. The number of zeros in the product increases when the power of 10 increases. Each successive power of 10 adds how many zeros? 1 0 to the product. How many zeros are in the product of 7 and 100? And remember, product means multiplication. How many zeros are in the product of 7 times 100? Well, my answer would be 700, so there'd be 2 zeros, right? 700 is my answer, 1, 2 zeros. Okay, how many zeros are in the product of 21 and 10? If I have 21 times 10, well, 21 times 10, how many zeros are going to be in that product? Remember up here we had times 10? 1 0. 210 is my, oops, that's my answer. Sorry, Mrs. Bodell messed up. 210 is my answer. There's 1 0 there. Okay, what about this last one? How many zeros are in the product of 10 and 1,000? Well, look at, we multiply times 1,000. How many zeros are there going to be? 3. There's 3 zeros in 1,000. There's 3 zeros in my answer. So it's going to be 12. Oh, I keep writing it on the wrong spot. 3 zeros because my answer is 12,000. We're going to go over this a lot more, you guys. We're going to be doing this for a little bit. So don't stress. Don't stress if you're stressing. If you're stressed right now, I want you to take a deep breath and go, I can do hard things. I want you to say that out loud. I can do hard things. I'll wait. Okay, I can't wait anymore. I hope you said it. Let's turn the page. Okay, here's example number 2. Let's get my board set up here. There we go. First of all, it wants you to do 13 times 10 to the second power mentally. What on earth is it asking? 13 times that? I don't know. Let's check. Well, what's 10 to the second power without exponents? What is that? Remember, what did we just do yesterday? 10 That's our base. That's the number that keeps repeating. How many times did it keep repeating? 2. So 13 times 10 to the second power is the same thing as 13 times 10 times 10. Step 2. Count the number of zeros in the power of 10. How many zeros do you see here? We've got 1, 2. How many zeros? 2. Compare the number of zeros to the exponent. So wait a minute, you guys, look. This has 2 zeros, and look at my little exponent has 2 zeros. They're the same. That is going to be convenient. So we're going to write 13. That's what we started with. We're multiplying 13. And then we're going to just put that number of zeros after it. How many zeros? 2. So the product is 1,300. There's going to be more. This is exciting, you guys, because math is so full of patterns. Once you get this figured out, it's going to help you in so many things. Find 40 times 7,000 mentally. What? Mrs. Bodell, we can't use a calculator? We have to find it in our brains? Those are such big numbers. Or is it? We can just look at the numbers that are being multiplied here. We've got a lot of zeros, and then we have 2 other numbers. We have a 4 and a 7. What's 4 times 7? 28. You guys know your math facts. 4 times 7 is 28. Oh, well, I know that fact. Okay, now we're going to count the number of zeros. Okay, so we've got 1 0 here, and then 1, 2, 3 zeros there. So there's a total of 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm just going to take this number, 28, my product of that, and I'm going to write that number of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. I write my number, 28. That was the product of my math fact, and then I add the number of zeros. So the product, the answer to my multiplication problem, is 280,000. 28 with 4 zeros. We're going to do more. This is a really cute hamster. I was going to say he was a guinea pig, but I see he has an H, so he's definitely a hamster. Find each product mentally. Okay, 8 times 10 to the second power, or 8 times 10 squared. Remember, my base is 10. That's the factor. 10 times, how many times does it go? Twice, because there's 2. What is my total number of zeros? 1, 2, 2. So 8 times 10 is that we're going to write 8 times 1. You know that math fact. What's 8 times 1? 8. And how many zeros are we going to put? 2. 8 times 1, and then 2 zeros, because that's what we counted. Let's look at this one. 14 times 2. Oh, no, 14 times 2,000. 14 times 2,000. Well, what's our basic multiplication fact? What's our numbers that are not zeros? 14 and 2. What's 14 times 2? 14 times 2 is 28. 14 times 2 is 28. Okay. So how many numbers of zeros are there? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 zeros. So 14 times 2,000 is, we write the answer to our basic multiplication fact, 28, and then I put 3 zeros after it. 28,000. Feel free to pause the video here if you need more time filling out this part. If not, we're going to go on to the independent practice page. And remember, this is the page I want you to take a picture of when we turn in our work. Okay, find each product mentally. We're trying to find each product mentally. So I don't know 13 times 1,000, but I know 13 times 1. What's 13 times 1? Oh, easy peasy, 13. How many zeros am I going to add? 1, 2, 3. 3 zeros. So 13 times 1,000 is 13,000. Let's look at number 4. 37 times 10 to the second power. Oh, that seems hard, Mrs. Bodell. I can't do it. Yes, you can. Remember, I told you you can do it. We're going to look at 37 times 1. What's 37 times 1? 37 times 1? Well, of course, that's 37. How many zeros were actually in this? Remember, that was 10 times 10. 1, 2. 2 zeros. It's the same. So we add 2 zeros. My answer there is 3,700. On number 5, let's circle carefully. The basic multiplication fact is 9 times 3. What's 9 times 3? That's right, 27. If you don't know that, pull out your multiplication sheet and look at 9 times 3 is 27. How many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3. Add 3 zeros. This is simple to do in our head, and we don't have a whole lot of work to do here. 8 times 10 to the third power. Well, what's 8 times 1? 8. Easy peasy, Mrs. Bodell. And how many zeros is that one going to have, that 10 to the third? Well, remember, 10 to the third is 10 times 10 times 10. So how many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3. That's right. It lines up with that. 3 zeros. Number 21. Or number 7, sorry. 21 times 10 to the first power. Okay. So what's 21 times 1? Just 21. It's itself. And 10 to the first power, my factor is 10. How many times do I multiply it? Well, just 1. So how many zeros are there? Just 1, just like it says. So that answer is 210. Let's look at 9 times 50. What's my basic multiplication fact? 9 times 5. 9 times 5 is 45. I write the answer to my basic fact problem and I count up the zeros. How many are there? Just 1. This is the same thing, except it's in a backwards order. And so they're trying to trick you here. But let's think it through. Something times 10 to the fourth is 70,000. Well, let's see what's missing. So how many zeros are we supposed to have if we multiply this out? 4. Let's check. Are there 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, okay. So we've taken care of the powers of 10. So what times 1 gives you 7? What times 1 gives you 7? That's right, 7. This one was 7 times 10 to the fourth. They did 7 times 1 and added 4 zeros. Let's look at number 9. 300 times something equals 120,000. Holy moly. Well, let's do some work here. How many zeros are in my final answer? 4. How many zeros are here? Just 2 of the 4. So how many have to be here? If I have 4 in my answer and we've only used 2 of them, 2 more have to be right there. So my answer has to have 2 zeros. We don't know the beginning yet, but it has to have 2 zeros. Okay, we got rid of that. Now we got rid of our zeros. 3 times what gives you 12? 3 times what gives you 12? You guys know that. It's 4. So the answer that's missing in 300 times something equals 120,000 is 400. Okay, you guys, we're going to continue on with number 11 here. 100 times something equals 900. So some of you might get this really quickly, but if you didn't, let's check and see. We start with 2 zeros, and it's got 2 zeros in the end, so it's already balanced on its zeros, so there can't be any zeros here. So 1 times what equals 9? That's right, 9. So the answer to that one is just simply 9. We've got one more on this page. Something times 10 to the second power, or 10 squared, is 4,400. So remember, we're going to figure out the zeros first. So this one has how many zeros? 2. Now let's look at our answer. Our answer has 2 zeros. So our zeros are already balanced. So we have now something times 1 equals 44. What times 1 equals 44? Well, of course, it's 44. 44 times 1 equals 44. If you need more time to finish anything on this page, go ahead and pause here and do that. If not, we're going to turn to the back page. We're just going to do a couple of these on the back page, you guys, because this has already been a lot. So let's take a look at problem number 13. It says each box contains 10 squared pencils. Well, that's a really weird way to write the number of pencils we have, especially for such a small number. We usually only use these sorts of exponents when we have larger numbers, but that's okay. The school store has 15 boxes of pencils. So I'm going to circle my two numbers that I have, 10 squared and 15. How many pencils does the school store have? Our first step is we have to figure out what we're going to be doing in this problem. So it wants to know how many pencils it has. We know that we have 15 boxes and each box contains 10 squared pencils. So every time we say that each, that is a key word for multiplication. So our sentence, and you can go ahead and write this, is going to be 15 times 10 squared. And then we're just going to figure that out. So we've got, let's do our everything except zeros first. 15 times 1, 15 times 1 is 15. And how many zeros are we going to add? 2 zeros. So there's 1,500 pencils. Okay, we're going to do two more problems, you guys. 14 and 15. Hang in there. We're almost done. Explain this to a friend. We're going to work on it together. So this person's name is Guia. Guia? Sure. Guilia. Guilia runs an average of 15 minutes a day. I'm going to circle 15. She has a goal of running 10 squared minutes in 7 days. Will she complete her running goal? So let's take a look. If she ran 15 minutes a day for 7 days, how long would she run? Well, that's 15 minutes each day. Remember, that's our multiplication hint. So 15 times 7. Let's see if she kept up that pace. 5 times 7 is 35. I carry that 3. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 3, 8, 9, 10, 105. So if she kept running for 7 days, 15 minutes a day, she would run 105 minutes. She wants to run at a goal of 10 squared minutes in 7 days. Well, what's 10 squared? That's 10 times 10, or a 1 with 2 zeros, which is 100 minutes. So if she wants to run 100 minutes and she runs 105, did she make her goal? Well, yeah, she actually went a little bit past it, right? She met her goal. When we have a goal, oftentimes we're trying to get at least that. So yes, Gulia met her goal. Last question, and then you guys are done. A group of friends bought 7 tickets to a dog show for $30 each. How much did they spend on the tickets? I'm going to circle my numbers, 7 and 30, and I have a keyword here, each, which often tells me to what? To multiply. Each typically means multiply. So 7 times 30 or 30 times 7. Either way, it doesn't matter which way you write it because of the commutative property. So we're going to do our simple math fact first. What's 3 times 7? 21, and then we add 1 0. And this is in money, so it's $210. Great job, you guys. Keep up the work, the good work. This little poodle here is giving you a first place prize. I'm proud of you guys, just like everybody's proud of that poodle. Keep it up.